know what you guys are gonna say. SB, man, you always talking about the cost of living. You're always talking about what America's doing. And the reason why I'm doing that is because people need to be aware. People need to be aware of the situation that is in front of them. And I need to do that because I understand what America is trying to do in the perspective of keeping the American people distracted. There's so many different things that I could name. You can start with things like Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Man. You can go from that, you can go to sports. You can go from sports to doom scrolling on Instagram all day. So if your mind, which is the most important aspect of your body, is constantly distracted with all of these different situations, how in the world would you ever be able to understand what's going on around you? And at some point, you're not going to even be able to make that call, because things are just getting so crazy right now, which you're just going to have no other choice but to face the facts. Cost of living is an issue. It's not just an issue, it's an ongoing thing that continues to drive people into a mental situation, as well as the capabilities of it breaking up families and tearing apart families when it comes to price. Everything is extremely expensive, right? Think about it, guys. For the people that are bachelors, think about your grocery costs. You know, your everyday prices when it comes to your transportation, right? And then you gotta keep in mind for the people that got larger families, like families of 5, families of 6, 7, and the list goes on. And people are still they're still growing their families. Some families are still having kids, right? But then I know some of you gonna sit there and say, well, stop having kids. You need to stop having kids. If you can't pay for them, then, if it's too high, then don't have no kids. See, that right there, that thinking right there is exactly why you would need to focus on the situation at hand. As you can see, if it's that difficult when it comes to the economic system and the pricing and the cost of living, food rising in price, all that being said, now you have to put a limit to how you want to grow your family and your legacy. It's a sad situation. People shouldn't have to put a price tag on how they should be able to grow their families just because their insurance is too high, their mortgage is too high, their rent is too high, their means of transportation when it comes to oil is too high. Now, if all of those wasn't an issue, wouldn't you be able to still extend and build a family that you've always wanted? I mean, look at it. I mean, birth rates are down. Birth rates are down. And for specific cultures, they're more on the decline for specific cultures, but we're not going to get into that aspect. But just in general, yet people are at some point are going to stop because they're going to be forced to have to be out on the street. What did they used to say that? They used to say an average price per kid was like, what, $10,000 or something like that? Something It's just crazy to even have to think about putting a price tag on your kid. Like, that's not weird to you guys? It's probably not, because when you think about it and you go and you get hired at a job, you know, they tell you that you're worth $19 an hour, and you be like, all right, I got it. Let's do it. So, in the mental aspect, you've already accepted that you have a price tag. So if it does not sound weird to you, it's because you've accepted that America has put a price tag on you. So now you can sit here and play the game and say, well, yeah, each kid that I make, you know, I gotta tally that, I gotta count this. This kid is $10,000, this kid is 10, and then you got the taxes is the same shit, man. All you do is you putting price tags and stuff on your family. It's a weird situation, man. And I see that every day. I see more and more truth come to light. I see more and more truth come to light based on how this system runs, right? It goes from, you know, the rise of the cost of living to, obviously, if you can't pay, you know, for certain things, what does it do? It causes friction in the household. And once you start getting friction in the household, you know, everything kind of goes to shit from there. You know, mom goes this way, dad goes this way, kids go that way. And then what do you got? You got a broken home. You got a broken home, right? And before all of these cost of living prices skyrocketed, that was already an issue prior to that. Now it's just like adding fuel on the fire. Like I said, it could be something as simple as hey, look, we're gonna take a vacation. We take our vacations every 3 months, and when those 3 months come, we're gonna, you know, go to this destination that we always like to go to. But then you realize that you can't do that now because the oil prices have inflated beyond expectation. So now you got to put a halt on that vacation. And what does it do? It starts to create, you know, bitterness. You know what I mean? It creates bitterness, and now you're in a bad state of mind because you can't do something that you know will help ease the mind in a sense. That's why they put vacation time. They put vacation time on a job, because they know if you don't have some type of a breather from some of the crazy shit, you'll go fucking crazy. You'll go insane, right? So it's the same thing. People need a little breather. But how can they do that if they always have to worry about when they get back, is this gonna be due? Is that gonna be due? You know, or is it gonna put us to the threshold? Well, now we gotta get a payday loan now. There's always something within this country that keeps people scraping for fucking pennies, man. And the fact of the matter is that, you know, as soon as the majority of us realize that this whole cost of living thing is a game, you know, we'd be more willing to start standing up for ourselves, saying no to this corporation, no to that executive corporation, no to Elon Musk and Tesla, because he doesn't like black people anyway, so why support him? You know what I'm saying? And as soon as we realize that, then we can kind of take back, I would say, the country. But that's the only thing I would be able to That's the only thing that I would be able to see happening, because continually letting this government do whatever they want to do, we're gonna have a massive fucking hole in this landmass, because all these other countries, they're not gonna keep putting up with that shit. They're not gonna keep putting up with the bullying. So, like I said, it's something that we'd have to realize that this is happening. You know, this cost of living tag is a game. Remember, you have a cost on living. Why do you need a cost on living? You guys have to think about that. Put that in perspective. Water is free. Fruits and vegetables are free. Oxygen is free. But the question is your mind free? Think about it, guys. With that being said, stay locked in, family. And maybe at some point we'll get past this crazy situation here in so-called America. And until next time, my name is St. Nicholas Brand, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.